All right. So go ahead and tell us about your experience with homeopathy. What has this been like for you?
Well, I have to say in the beginning, I was really excited to give it a try. I wasn't sure what to expect, but it didn't take long for me to start noticing certain things that were definitely improvements. The first thing I would say is I was very anxious. I would have a lot of fearful thoughts. I was anxious and that type of thing. Even though it had been better than when I was a child, I still noticed it when it would crop up. Now, on the homeopathy treatment, what would happen is I started to notice that a lot of the dreams I would have of being late or, running from a situation, trying to hide, or somebody chasing me, things like that, all of that went away. So now instead, I actually have dreams about pre-planning, like sitting down with a group and working and preparing for something. And the energy that's in those dreams is a lot more relaxed. It's more so that I feel like I'm participating and that I'm involved. I'm not being chased and I'm not being threatened. And I don't feel like I'm running late. None of that is happening anymore. So that's a big, big change for me because I had the original kind of dreams, the ones of being chased, I had those for years and years and years, being late for the exam, all of that. And that's all gone. And it's been at least 2 months now that I could say that I have not had any of those kind of dreams of being late or being chased or just being stressed. Um, the other thing as well that's really big for me is I found that my hair started to grow back. I had premature graying and premature thinning, and with the thinning, I had spots on my hair or my head, actually, at the very front of my head, where there was no hair. It's like I would have a line of hair, and then I would have a space of just scalp and then hair behind that. So it was very noticeable if I would comb my hair a certain way or, just basically in the mirror, I'm looking at myself, I could see where I was missing hair. Well, now, even though the hair is not thick and it's not full in those spaces, it's there. For me, that's like night and day. So I know that because I have the hair in those spots, it will continue to grow. So that's a really exciting thing for me because I haven't had hair in those spots for probably, I don't know, about maybe 5 to 7 years, somewhere in that time frame. So to all of a sudden start growing hair, it's just a bonus. It's an absolute bonus, and I'm so thankful for the homeopathy remedy to push me in that direction. And in addition to the hair that's growing on my head, my eyebrows are growing back. I used to have half eyebrows, where literally side edge of my eyebrow was gone. I mean, it was just, I might have 5 or 6 little hairs on the side, but now I'm actually starting to grow an entire eyebrow from one end to the other, and it's just been amazing. It's not full yet, but the fact is there's little hairs that are there, and the ones that are there are getting longer, and then I see little tiny ones filling in around it. So my guess is probably in the next 6 to 9 months I may have a full set of eyebrows, which is awesome. I mean, between the hair loss, the eyebrow loss, it's hard to feel very feminine sometimes when you're looking at yourself trying to do makeup and you're working with very, minimal things, but the homeopathy remedy has removed that. So that's been really exciting for me. Now, also with my acne, I used to have issues with acne. I won't say how old I am, but I am long past, the point where I should have acne. And even though I still have a few little outbreaks here and there, they don't last near as long. Before I used to, before the homeopathy remedy, I used to find that I would get acne and it would stay. It would literally start out just as a little, red spot, and then it would turn into like a actual pimple with the little white head on it, and then that white head would go away, but then there was still the bump or a mark, and it would last for weeks. I mean, 3 weeks to sometimes a month and a half. Now I may get the little red spot, where I have the tender skin, but usually it's gone in less than a week. I mean, it comes and it goes. So the homeopathy remedy really has made a big difference there as well.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And now with energy or focus, any changes in those areas at all for you?
Yes, actually, before the homeopathy remedy, my energy level was, I would say almost non-existent. I was able to function, but I would feel so drained when I would wake up in the morning. And that was primarily because I was sleeping 2 to 3 hours at a time. And then I would wake up maybe for 30 minutes to an hour, and then I would go back to sleep. And it was really hard because I'd never felt like I was getting a full night's rest. And even if I've slept 4 or 5 hours, I would wake up feeling very lethargic, and it would last the entire day. And then it would start again the next. It wasn't easy before the homeopathy remedy. Well, now with the homeopathy remedy, I find that I'm sleeping 5 to 6 hours a night to start. So essentially, I would sleep those 5 or 6 hours, and then I may end up waking up, but I'm able to go right back to sleep. And then I'm still able to get another 2, 3 hours after that. So that is a big change for me. I mean, actually, that's humongous change for me. And then regarding the focus, I would say that before the homeopathy remedy, I could write a to-do list of items that I needed to get done. And they may go from 1 week into 4 or 5 months later. I would get so distracted. I would start a project and I would stop, and then I would start it again. And then sometimes I would just lose track of it and I wouldn't complete certain things. Now, the good news is I don't have that problem anymore. I may write something on my to-do list and it may not get done that day, but it's not going to run into a month or two after the fact before I get it done. So I'm able to get started on a project, actually stay focused on it, and actually complete it in a reasonable time, which really has helped my esteem. I have to say my self-esteem has really increased just because of that, because I feel more productive and I feel more effective and more involved, which has just been awesome.
Excellent. Now, you had also reported, was it this crawling sensation on your legs? Um, can you tell us about that and what happened with that?
It's funny. I completely forgot about that one just because that was happening before I started the remedy. Now, after I started the remedy, I would say, gosh, that was the first thing probably that was noticeable that went away. After the homeopathy remedy, I would say maybe it was 2 to 3 weeks after I started the remedy that I didn't even have that sensation. It was so gone that I hadn't even thought about that. I mean, it was like it was there one day and then it was completely gone. I mean, just absolutely gone. I didn't feel like, I mean, the sensation was actually that little things were crawling on my skin, like maybe little bugs, or like my hair was being lifted off my skin, like when somebody would, kind of lightly touch you, and it was just like an awkward sensation. It was never painful, but it was noticeable and it was distracting because you could be doing something and you would feel that, and it would just kind of, for lack of a better term, it would be an irritation, just like a gross little feeling on your skin. And I haven't had that in so long, and the homeopathy remedy just took that away. I mean, it's just been wonderful, actually.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Now, tell us a little bit about your experience with the online situation. For example, like we're using Zoom right now. So, um, our clinic being in Arizona and you not living in Arizona, being in another state, um, how has that worked for you? Did you have any hesitations about that prior to the appointment, or how has that worked? The fact that you've actually haven't been into our clinic and we've conducted all of our sessions online, remotely. What would you say about that? How has that experience been for you?
Actually, that's been awesome. Um, I can't say that I was worried it wouldn't be easy. It was more so that I wasn't quite sure how it would all work, doing everything over the internet. But it was so smooth. I mean, all I did was fill out the paperwork to get started as a patient. And then we had our first session, which, by the way, was the most amazing experience I've ever had with a practitioner. Um, I've never been in a session of of a practitioner getting to know me so well. I mean, I think we spent almost 2 hours just talking through everything, my dreams, my issues, what I wanted to have improvements on, what I was struggling with. I mean, just everything. It's like I really felt like after that first session, that first online session, I felt like you knew me better than some of the doctors that I had visited in the past, some of the doctors I had physically gone to and visited in the past. But to have that, opportunity to sit down with you over the computer and you being my practitioner, it was just amazing. I mean, everything that you asked me, everything that we talked about, all the different pieces basically that I was able to kind of fill in because you asked very poignant questions. So, I mean, this is going to sound weird, but I'm thinking the internet might have even been better maybe than a face to face, because for me it fit in with my time schedule. I didn't feel stressed. I didn't feel like, oh, I had to run and go to an appointment or anything like that. So, being a couple states away has not even really affected me at all. I haven't felt that difference in any way actually that I can think of. So the experience in general of being, um, doing this over the internet hasn't hasn't been anything but great.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing all that information. Appreciate it. Anything else that comes to mind that you'd like to share?
I mean, other than the fact of I didn't know what to think of regarding homeopathy, um, not only did you explain to me, what would happen and so on, and you talked through the steps and what homeopathy was all about, and I did some of my own research as well. But having had the experience of it and knowing that, like for me, I just take two little drops in the morning, one in the morning, actually four little drops, two in the morning, two in the evening, and it's made such a difference. I mean, I've been on medications, actual pharmaceutical type medications in the past that didn't make this kind of difference in the amount of time that I've been taking the homeopathy remedy. So I would say it's been night and day between the pharmaceutical side and taking homeopathy drops. And that in itself has just been a surprise, a pleasant, beautiful, awesome surprise.
Great. Thanks again. Thank you so much.
Welcome.